If I don't make it, bet the fam will. Watch the city fall in love with us. Clyde Frazier.
All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Monday afternoon. We are 30 days away from the start of the New York Knicks 2025-26 campaign. We are right around the corner from the start of Knicks basketball, and this week we start training camp, man. So we got another action-packed week of KnicksFanTV ahead. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, make sure you subscribe to the channel. The number one show for the fans by the fans. CP the Fanchise in the building. Salute to our Fanchise channel members out there on the grind on this beautiful Monday out here in New York. And let's get into it, man. Over or under 53.5 wins. We are going to talk about the Knicks' projected win total by Las Vegas and talk about why they could or why they might not make that number, man. Let's talk about it, the pros and cons, and get you guys ready for Knicks training camp. And like I said, we are right around the corner, man. Good to be back on with you guys. Once again, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get it. All right, man. Salute to the family. Happy Monday. Cheers to Knicks Nation, wherever you guys are watching from, whether you guys are watching on KFTV YouTube, on KnicksFanTV Facebook. If you guys are on the lunchtime grind, salute to you guys. I want to shout out my Fanchise channel members. Mellow Mike, salute to you. Andrew AA3, I see you checking in from across the pond. D Cannon 93. Fabian Aramara, salute to my guys, man. Stevie Nicks, Marie B. Welcome Avery 2 to the Fanchise channel members. Yeah, man, we here. We are here. I'm hyped. I'm just getting some text messages from a lot of our people that we connect with throughout the course of the season. Everybody's hyped, man. Everybody's gearing up for the most anticipated Knicks season in probably the last, 25, 35 years. So certainly looking forward to it. As we look at the key dates for this upcoming season, tomorrow is Media Day, the 23rd. And then the 24th, the Knicks will embark on their training camp. Mike Brown practice. We got 21 roster spots already finalized. And these guys are going to be ready to go, man. So, like I said, I'm very much looking forward to that. And then you have October 2nd and October 4th, the Knicks will be headed to Abu Dhabi to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Will it be Joel Embiid? Will it not be Joel Embiid? We shall see. But they're going to start off the preseason campaign in Abu Dhabi, who is also the jersey sponsor for the New York Knicks. All right, so lots going on this week, man. Obviously, we're going to have the guests lock and loaded for you guys. And we're gonna kick this thing off the right way. And we posted on our Twitter, on our social channels. Remember when Amari came back and gave us this incredible soundbite? And so this is what we used to announce the dates.
Yep, the Knicks are back. You know, it's definitely great to be a part of a beautiful organization. Something that is well appreciative and looking to build something special here.
just to get us hype and set the tone. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I woke up this morning. So, as we said, man, 23rd is Media Day, 24th training camp, and then next week you will have the Abu Dhabi games. So we are getting off to the races. But on today's show, what we want to talk about is that win total, man. I was on DraftKings. Shout out to our sponsor, DraftKings. And we were looking at their annual win total projections for all NBA teams. And for the New York Knicks, they have their number at 53.5. Let me just scroll up here to the Knicks. They got their number at 53.5. When we look at some of the Knicks peers this season, OKC, they got the champs at 62.5. Oh, I moved this by accident. They have the champs at 62.5 wins. They have the Cleveland Cavaliers. I moved that also by accident. 56.5. The Houston Rockets coming in at 56.5. And then you have the Denver Nuggets and the New York Knicks at 53.5. The Orlando Magic coming up next, right behind the Knicks, at 50.5. Orlando winning 41 games last year. They got Orlando at 50.5. And then they got the Wolves behind them at 49.5. So what do you guys think about those numbers? The Knicks winning 51 games last year under head coach Tom Thibodeau, and that was their best win total since the 2012-2013 season when they won the 54 games and got the second seed in the East. Last year, the Knicks won the 51 games, and they finished third in the East with the fifth best overall record in the NBA. You had Cleveland and Boston ahead of them, and then you had OKC and the Rockets ahead of them as far as the West Coast team. So the Knicks had the fifth best record, 51-win season, which by and large was a great season by the New York Knicks with the additions that they made, including the Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns trade. I thought that said a lot about the team, coming together with these two new pieces and the talent that they had to win the 51 games. I thought the Knicks had an outstanding season last year, and the record certainly showed, and their playoff success carried over. So shout out to wrong screen. So shout out to the Knicks there. Now, the question is, will they do over or under 53.5? So basically 54 win total. Can they jump up and gain about +3 wins in the column there under Mike Brown? What do you guys think, man? What are you going for, over or under? Why they could go over? I have them at about 53. So I have them really right there. Now, let's go into kind of the pros and cons, or why they could go over the 53.5 mark. Number one, as I just mentioned, with the talent that they have, you're going to have a chemistry carryover. You had 2 All-Stars, 2 All-NBA players in Brunson and Towns last year. You had a guy like an OG Anunoby with a career high. OG had a career high of 18 points per game. And remember, especially when Jalen went down, OG started to emerge. We saw him be a lot more aggressive. He had the 40-point game against the Denver Nuggets earlier in the season last year. So OG Anunoby certainly took a step up. You had obviously guys like a Josh Hart, your glue guy, your connector, triple-double machine as he was last year. Is he going to start? Is he going to come off the bench? We shall see. Are we factoring in another year of Mikal Bridges? Second year with his team. New role under Mike Brown, in which the consensus is that he will be featured a lot more and get more comfortable in this offense. Time will tell. And will the contract being behind him, will that allow Mikal Bridges to kind of settle in even more, understanding that he has that security with a new deal? So with your starting 5, you're coming in with the carryover chemistry. You're starting a full season, knock on wood, he stays healthy, with Mitchell Robinson. So you get your defensive anchor there. If he starts, how does that push them forward? So I think the carryover offensively and defensively with your core is one reason to feel comfortable that this Knicks team can hit that over, obviously health permitted, right? It's always about health. So that's one thing, the continuity. Now, how about the Mike Brown effect? That's number 2. Mike Brown with this new offensive system, let's say everything goes well, they're buying in, they're moving and grooving. How does that impact things on the win column? What we know about Mike Brown's system is that from his press conference, he talked about the fact that he wants to play faster. Deuce McBride alluded to the fact that they will emphasize more ball movement, more player movement. And as we look at the statistics last year offensively, yes, we know that the Knicks were a top 5 team offensively. in terms of offensive rating. Now, they were more 10th when it came to playing the top 10 defenses in the league, so they took a little bit of a step back. And also, if we look at it statistically, where the Knicks were from a ball movement standpoint and player off-ball movement, they were about middle of the pack in terms of the passing statistics, cutting, percentile, so on and so forth. So they were about middle of the pack. One of the things, if you look at statistically when Mike Brown was with Sacramento, when it came to the passing statistic, when it came to touches, cutting, they were closer to the top upper quadrants of the NBA. And so if he's carrying that forward, obviously, yes, we have different personnel, but you have a lot of talent. You have all-star talent here. In particular, Brunson Towns, Bridges Anunoby, Clarkson coming off the bench. If they are able to play to their strengths in that offense, I think you can expect an uptick depending on how they buy in. So that's another reason. Now, defensively under Mike Brown, we know that he's going to be bringing forward his defensive principles. He wants his teams to defend. Now, Sacramento didn't do that all that well. But if the Knicks can lock in and be even better offensively, led by their cornerstone wings in Anunoby, and OG should have been NBA all defense last year. Should have been all defense last year. Deuce, Mitch, the defense being a bit stronger, executing what the coach wants out there. I think that's another reason to buy in to the win total. And also on the offensive side, the Knicks last year were a top 10 team in mid-range accuracy, three-point accuracy, three-point percentage, and effective field goal percentage. So are we buying that with Mike Brown's improved offense, that they're able to carry that forward? Then the offense should be at least where it left off under Tibbs, or hopefully better under Mike Brown. What do we think in the chat? Another reason to bet on the over, the bench depth. We talked about this for a few episodes now in terms of the bench depth. I mean, you're going from one of the worst benches by, according to scoring production, last year with Payne, Deuce, Shamet, you had Precious. Now you're adding Jordan Clarkson, a 16-point per game scorer off the bench. You're adding Yabusele, a 10 points per game scorer off the bench, 40% three-point shooter. You're either coming with Mitch or Hart off the bench. If, let's say, for argument's sake, it's Hart. Now you have a capable playmaker, a guy that can run your offense. He can get you out in transition. You're getting better scorers off the bench, plus Deuce. And then you sprinkle in a Shamet / Brogdon on the back end. We'll see, how they get sprinkled into this rotation. The bench is expected to be better. Bench is definitely expected to be better. And especially from Clarkson's perspective, let me just go back to my stats here. Salute to everybody in the chat. Especially from Clarkson's perspective, the Knicks last year, one of the things that they were lacking off their bench last year was consistent shot creation off of their bench. That was one of the things that was missing. With Clarkson, you're getting the 16 points per game off the bench, but it's also how you're getting it, right? When you look at it and you look at his assisted percentage, this is a guy that goes and gets it. For his career, finished no less, no worse than the 79th, 80th percentile in assisted on in terms of all his shots. So he's going out there and get it. Now, he's going to let it fly. You know what I mean? Look, every night is not going to be blissful when it comes to Jordan Clarkson. There's going to be times where he's going to have you, he's definitely going to be a candidate for the We Don't Need That award for the season. For certain games. We know that. He's definitely going to be that guy. That's just who Clarkson is. He's gonna let it fly, and some nights it's gonna be frustrating, but he's capable of getting the job done for you, especially as a scorer. So you're gonna have that. That will improve the bench. You add Yabusele's 3-point firepower, his ability to shoot threes, especially above the break, and the overall improvements of the bench will allow you to not have to rely on your starters as much. If your starters are healthier and with more energy closer to the end of the season as the bench minutes allow your starter to stay fresh, then that should improve the overall output of the team. So if you're going to bet on the over, you're betting on an improved Knicks bench, especially on the offensive end with the additions of Clarkson, Yabusele, Hart lifting that bench, Deuce as well lifting that bench. So that's one thing. If the team stays healthy, that's another reason you can bet on the over on the win total over the 53.5 wins. Knock on wood, you get Mitch for a good portion of the season. Brunson stays healthy. Cat, as I said with the bench, I mean, if this Knicks team is fortunate enough to finish this season with everybody intact as they did last year, then those are good reasons to bet on the over. Another factor, which I thought was interesting, when you look at the schedule and you look at the back-to-backs, the Knicks have 14 back-to-backs. The average of the league is 14.4 back-to-backs. So they're a little bit below average in terms of back-to-backs. And most back-to-backs this season, according to the schedule, is 16. So the Knicks fall in 14. And also, when it comes to the most traveled teams of this 25-26 season, the Knicks rank 23rd in the league in terms of travel. They're at 39,755 in total in terms of miles that they will be traveling this NBA season. That's 23rd. Most in the league is the Orlando Magic at 54,279. So, again, the schedule is just paper. The games still have to be played. Doesn't account for scenarios or injuries or rest or whatever the case may be. But on paper, it is thought that the Knicks may have a slightly favorable schedule, if you will, in terms of back-to-backs and mileage. So again, another reason to bet the over is less of a load for that team. Now, on the underside, what could knock this team down a couple of pegs to be under 54.5? I mean, 54.5, as we talked about, it's under 54.5, like slightly under, is not a bad season. We're just talking about in relation to the win total, what could potentially knock them off of that where they hit the under. Now, I mentioned if they stay healthy, they've got a good shot. But if they don't stay healthy, obviously, that's going to be a huge risk. And you're coming in there with Mitchell Robinson, who hasn't been a durable player throughout his career. Guys like OG Anunoby, like some of your key defensive staples, have had some injuries history. Obviously, we know that. Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, Deuce has been in and out. He was in and out of the lineup last year. So some of your key defenders have some injury history. Jalen Brunson, what will his minutes look like throughout the course of the season? And if he's taking less of a role, you're hoping, or less time on the ball, you're hoping that limits his usage a little bit so that he can stay fresh. Josh Hart, Hart's got a degenerative knee. How does that impact things? Karl Anthony Towns, Towns had knick-knack injuries. Remember, he's got the patella issue. I mean, he had the tendonitis issue last year, the broken thumb, and another sprain on one of his fingers. He had a chip on his thumb and then another broken finger. So Towns is a guy who, unfortunately, he's going to get banged up. He plays that style of game. So you knock on wood, they stay healthy, but obviously they have legitimate question marks there where if those key guys are not healthy, that could jeopardize them meeting that over. So maybe that can go under. Secondly, how about the adjustment period under Mike Brown? It's a new system. It's a new offense. How many games will it take for this team to get comfortable? And if it's more ball movement, how much time it's going to take for this team to generate that trust, to keep it flowing and not allow it to get stagnant in the hands of their two stars. So how long will that adjustment period be under Mike Brown? And what will those growing pains look like? That will be worth watching. That will definitely be worth watching. Third, hey, look, they still going to have a competitive East, even though people are going to say, listen, no, the East is easy. The East is easy. Look, the Cavs are still going to be a very tough team. Orlando, who I noted earlier in the show, where Vegas is pegging Orlando with +9 more wins in the win column. The Knicks play Orlando 3 times. Their entire season series with Orlando is going to be played in the first half of the season. We know Orlando plays them tough. They play them physical. They're a tricky team. So you're going to have to deal with the Cavs multiple times. You're going to have to deal with Orlando multiple times. The Hawks have given the Knicks fits when they were healthy this year, including that quarterfinals defeat with the shaking the dice on the Garden floor at the hands of Trae Young and the Hawks. The Bucks, hey, look, you're still going to have to respect Giannis and the Bucks. How will Philly look? Is Embiid starting the season with Philly? If he does, I would say you're still going to have to watch them. Don't sleep on Philly. The Celtics are going to fight. They're going to scrap with Jaylen Brown and Derek White. So there will be some competition in the East as it relates to the regular season. No question about it. So certainly have to respect the competition, especially when you're trying to get acclimated to a new system and new players. So that's number 3. We talked the injuries, the adjustment period, the competition. How will they look defensively with Mike Brown? It's one thing for him to be coaching it up and prioritizing how important the defense is, but let's look at the history. When Mike Brown had the NBA's best offense with the Sacramento Kings, he still had one of the worst defenses. Knicks finished 14th in the league defensively last year. The pieces that they brought in, hey, we like Clarkson, we like Yabusele, not known to be strong defenders. So how will this team look defensively? Is there a regression due for this team? They struggled in some respects last year, getting guys off the three-point line. Transition defense, they didn't seem to be connected consistently throughout the season. What will that look like under Mike Brown, where, kind of like in Sacramento, you didn't necessarily have the strongest defensive units out there? Getting Mitch back for a full season will help. Having Deuce out there will help. And, getting combinations in there with McCall and OG, that will certainly help. But some of your prime guys, your Brunsons, your Towns, your Clarksons, your Yabuseles, how are those guys going to handle this defense? With Mike Brown's defense, he wants aggressive pick and roll coverage. I'm looking really at Karl-Anthony Towns. What will those pick and roll coverages look like with Karl Anthony Towns? We know that was a struggle for the entire season and the playoffs last year for Towns. Tibbs did deploy a lot of drop coverage for Towns last year. How's that going to look this year under Mike Brown? If he can solve that, hey, line him up for NBA Coach of the Year. So the defense is really going to be something that I'm going to be looking at, especially with how Karl Anthony Towns adjusts and how they get the best out of him. Obviously, starting next to Mitch is going to be super helpful. Ty Busy in the chat says defense is my main concern, for sure. Shout out Jaron Givens, said this is their first live. Everybody in the chat, shout out to Jaron Givens. Lou Sanders says there will be a drop-off on defense with Tibbs gone, which is bad because we still have Cat who has to play drop coverage. He can't do anything else. No, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think we've seen, depending on the matchups, where when they were moving Towns up to the level, he had some success there. Or a little bit less aggressive of a drop. He had some success in spurts. I think it depends on the matchups. But as I said, Yabusele, Clarkson off the bench. How's that defense going to look? Because if it's worse than last year, then they may find themselves in dogfights in a lot of games, which would certainly impact them hitting the over of the 53.5 wins. So that's what I'm looking at on the pro side and on the con side. The pro side of how they can get over that number and what could go wrong to jeopardize that number. And if we think about like some of the X factors here, like I mentioned, Towns for sure is going to be one to watch. Offensively, what does his role look like? Do they utilize him as a passer more than they did last year? We saw some really good things from him as a passer, running the offense through Towns. What does that look like in Mike Brown's offense? If they're going to be emphasizing more ball movement, more passing, I think Towns is going to benefit and truly have a really good year. And then defensively, how do they get the most out of Towns defensively there? I think that's going to be a huge key. Another X factor, I'm looking at the bench. Clarkson. If Clarkson can come in there and give them some responsible minutes as the sixth man, 16 points per game, that's going to be huge. And you have a lot of different combinations that you can roll Clarkson out there, especially offensively, and really get things going. Because like I said, they really haven't had a capable shot creator, reliable shot creator off the bench probably since Quickly and Burks. Probably since Quickly and Burks. A guy that can really go get his own. Clarkson's going to do that. It's going to be a headache at times, but he can definitely do it. So, going to be interesting to see, man. Oh, we got a $20 super chat. Hang on. Let me get my sound up. Hold up. Bang! Shout out to our guy, Bees Noriega, in the chat, man. Shout out to Bees Noriega. He says, CP, you the GOAT of this Knicks media. See you at the next watch party, my boy. Let's get this chip this year. Shout out to Bees Noriega. Okay, also says, congratulations on getting engaged. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate it. And once again, welcome to Avery 2 in the chat. 400 people in the chat. Over 400 people in the chat, man. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Subscribe to the channel. We are getting ready for Knicks Media Day tomorrow. And Media Day, once all the content comes out, will probably be live at some point tomorrow with our Media Day reactions. We usually do that every year, so we can react to some of the key sound bites and some of the jokes and all the levity that you can assure you'll get from Knicks Media Day. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll be live again on Wednesday. George, a.k.a. Into the Knicks First, will be joining us on Wednesday as we break down some of our training camp key questions, camp battles, so on and so forth, man. So we are right there, ladies and gentlemen. We are right there. So back to the X Factors. I talked about Towns, Clarkson. I also think Yabusele as an X Factor is also going to be interesting. He's going to be an interesting figure because, as I mentioned, he's going to be an upgrade over what Precious gave this team as a floor spacer. Gives him a little bit more toughness at the power forward position. And then also with Yabusele, you can play him, how they play him is going to be interesting. Like, you can play him as a 4-5 next to Towns, and now you got two capable three-point shooters. You got, if you put OG right there, now you got three floor spaces for you. You can run him as a smaller backup 5 and go a little bit smaller. So there's a couple of roles that you can have Yabusele in, and I'm really digging his pick and roll and pick and pop potential with the second unit or with the starters. He's a guy that's going to be able to fill in anywhere, to be honest with you. And his transition numbers, as I'm showing on the highlights, I believe his transition numbers were pretty good as well. Let's take a look at this. I think when I was doing my research, I saw Yabusele's transition numbers were pretty good. Hang on. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm doing some good research here. And getting the analysis sharp. Yeah, here we go. So this is cleaning the glass. Yabusele's numbers with Philly last year in transition. 94th percentile in points per possession in transition. Plus 7.5 points per possessions there. Points per 100 possessions played. All transition, a 98th percentile in points plus possessions. Plus 3.2. Off of steals, 99th percentile. Plus 2 points plus per possessions, per 100 possessions. And off of live rebounds, 88th percentile. So if you're running like a Yabusele, let's say you're running them with your defensive lineups, you got him out there with OG, maybe Deuce, maybe Mitch, and you got Yabusele out there running the break where he can finish in the paint, he can finish at the 3. I think that gives you a lot of different dimensions that you really didn't have with Precious. So I look at Yabusele as an X factor off of that bench as well. Clarkson, Yabusele, and then how they navigate the schedule. I think that's going to be an X factor. The adjustment period it takes to get acclimated. The adjustment period with Brown's system. And then do they jump out the gates quickly? How do they jump out the gates? Going to be very interested to see how that looks. You start off with Cleveland, the Celtics. You go to Miami. Miami's going to be missing Hero already. Hero decided, I got to go get the surgery. Hero just load managed himself. Dude was sitting on some bunions for the entire summer and then said, you know what? Let me go get this surgery real quick. So he's dodging the Knicks. He's going to be missing the Knick game. Shout out to Ken Legal. I see you in the chat, man. Ken just copped some merch. Just got his rally towels. Get your merch in the chat. Go to KnicksFanTV.com for sure. But yeah, so I mean, we're starting the season off in Cleveland, then home against Boston. You got 2 home games. Then you're on the road at Miami, winnable game, at Milwaukee, home and home against the Bulls, home Washington, home Minnesota, home Brooklyn, home Memphis, home Orlando. So you're starting off the month of November with a 7-game homestand in the month, 7 games straight in the month of November. And then it's at Miami, at Dallas, at Orlando, at Brooklyn, at Charlotte. So you go on a 5-game road trip, winnable games, but still a road trip. Limited travel. Home Milwaukee, home Toronto. So that's how November looks. So November is very winnable for these guys. And then it's like once you get past that NBA Cup final, then it starts to get a little thick. It starts to get a little thick in December. At Indy, home Philly, home Miami, at Minnesota, home Cleveland, at Atlanta, at New Orleans, at Wemby for New Year's Day, at San Antonio, then home Atlanta, home Philly, at Detroit, home Clippers. That's a tough stretch right there in December. December into January gets a little bit trickier. Then you go out on your first West Coast trip in January. Phoenix, Portland, win. Sacramento should be a win at Golden State. So just going through some sample stretches there. Will be interesting to see how they navigate that. Mellow Mike said the cup is another goal. Mellow Mike wants the cup. Salute to you guys, man. So what do you guys think in the grand scheme of things? I'm going to get to the phones in a bit, too. I'll see my guy Triple M in the building. We'll get Triple M in the building. But what do you guys think, man? Over or under 53.5 wins? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Call me up in the KFTV Discord. Let me know what you guys think, man. Triple M, do we have you on the Discord? Are you in the building?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro. How you feel?
Feeling good, bro. I'm super pumped and excited for this
me too.
season. It's gonna be an absolute movie, man. We're leveling up every year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a long time from those all 82 games. CP, you had to beg people to come on the show because it was like we were 17 and 60. Yeah. We had to be like all 82. We tuned in because who was tuning in at that time?
Absolutely.
That's not gonna happen this year. So I'm pumped.
Well,
I'm pumped, but yeah, I'm calling in to talk about the over under. I have them slightly under, like you. You made all great points to the over and under, but I agree with the under, man. I see us at like maybe the same record, 52-51 win.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the Indiana Pacers, they went to the NBA Finals. They had 50 wins, you know. But Mike Brown, he's only gone over that number twice, 54. And that stretch you talked about, man, I just counted the days from December 18th. To about January 21st, man. It's a brutal stretch there, you know.
Yeah.
19 games in 35 days. You know, you go to the West Coast, you win Texas. You know, you're in the East Coast. It's a brutal stretch right there. So I think we go under. And also a point that I didn't hear you make is you know, the Tom Thibodeau effect. There was this game in November that I was looking at. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you how the minutes played real quick. Mm-hmm. Mikal played 39 minutes. OG played 40. Town played 40. Brunson played 40. Josh Hart played 42. This is a game November against the Charlotte Hornets. This is a random game in November. Tibbs played 8 guys that game, and the Knicks won by 1. You know, so that I feel like that's a game where I don't think Mike Brown might go that hard. You know, play 8 guys only. And I know there was a lot of injuries that game. I'm looking at the box score, but I think you know, Tibbs was getting every win, you know, and that was good on his season record, but it gassed our guys, a lot of fatigue. I see Jalen Brunson, man, playing like 32 to 34 minutes this year. I don't see Mikal playing close to 40 this year. It's gonna be an adjustment period, and I think that might lead to a few losses here and there, but still a great season, and still NBA Finals or bust. We back at it, you know, and also the KFTV watch parties. You know, people say those are automatic losses. I don't agree because I'll be in every one of them. Yeah, but you got to factor those in as well, CT. You know, you got to factor in those losses. You know, the watch party losses that people be hating on because they're not with the family. But you already know, Vaz, Triple M, we lock in all year. First call of the year. Here we go, CP. You already know the Vaz, my boy.
You already know. Shout out to Triple M, man. Rate that take in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Salute, man. Salute to our guy Triple M. He said we gotta factor in the watch parties. Well, how will that play in to the overall health of this Knicks record? Shout out to Triple M. Call us up in the KFTV Discord with your take. But he has a good point. And I'm wondering this too. This is like one of the things that I'm wondering about when it comes to this team. The pressure to, one, get acclimated to the new system. How much will Brown rely on the starters, knowing that he's also going to be relied on to utilize his depth? And now you got guys. You got Clarkson, you got Yabusele, you got Brogdon, you got Shamet. How the minutes going to look versus the need to establish chemistry with this new system. There's two forces at play there. How is that going to look? It's one thing if Tibbs was still here, you could say, maybe he's going to have a change of philosophy and go a different direction. But this is going to be Mike Brown. He's going to be pressure to win and also to utilize his depth and win. Going to be very interesting. What do you guys think of the chat, man? Leave some comments in the chat and I'll shout you guys out. So the rotation is definitely going to factor into it. Triple M is absolutely right. 500 people on the check. And if you guys are new in the chat, leave me a hashtag new. I saw a couple people checked in with the hashtag new already, so we definitely appreciate you guys there. Shout out to our guy, Triple M, man. KFTV Day 1. Okay, we got a super chat. $5 super chat from my guy, Junior Karoma. Fellow Giants fan, and I'm going to end the show on the Giant talk. $5 super chat from Junior, Fanchise channel member. Says, salute, CP. I'm so pumped up for a media day tomorrow, brother. Football season is already for our Giants. Is already, I guess he's saying already done. He didn't put that word, but I can fill in the blanks. He's already done for Giants. So Knicks and Yankees are our only hope. Yeah, I'm gonna get on them G-men in a little bit. I'm going to stick to the positives first. We're going to talk about Knicks basketball. Let's stick to the positive. KMD team hashtag new. Salute to you, man. Welcome to the show. Those guys are just brutal. Also, as we've been letting you guys know, man, one thing that we're doing to get you guys ready for the season, we created an awesome resource for you guys, absolutely free, and that is a digital calendar that is programmed with the Knicks schedule. So just like you guys put in your phone calendars, you put your reminders, you put your meetings in there, and you get the pop-up, you get the notification, like you got a meeting right now, you got to take the garbage out or whatever the case. We programmed the Knicks schedule into a separate calendar. And so when we send out the links, all you got to do is click on the link, add it to your phone, whether you have Apple or Android, and you'll have every single Knick game all season programmed directly to your phone so you don't miss it. Inside the notification will be links to the post-game show. So for some of you that say you don't get the notification or maybe you forget, you'll have links to the post-game show. You'll have links to purchase tickets to the game using our SeatGeek code if you need tickets to the game that night, last minute. You'll have links to the watch party, as Triple M mentioned. If we're having a watch party that night, you can RSVP, and the watch parties are going to be free anyway. So just a free resource for the people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to the Apple calendar right now. And then I'm also going to post a link to the Google calendar. So for those of you that want it, free resource, go ahead and get it. And those of you that already have it in the chat, just let me know that you guys have it. Leave me a notification in the chat. Let me know that you guys have it already. All right, so that was the Apple link I'm going to put in there. And here's the Android link. And there we go, man. Just to make sure that you guys aren't wondering, oh, man, I missed the game today. Nah, you have no excuse. The most anticipated season in over 30 years, we're going to get you right, man. We got to get you right. Okay, Will Latimer. Shout out to Will, man. How you feeling? Salute to you. All right, so everything is posted there. The Android and the Google calendar are posted there. Okay, let's get back to the phones. Yuri on the Discord. Yuri, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, brother. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for next month.
Let's go.
My Giants suck. My Mets suck.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for Nick basketball at this point.
There you go. How you feeling about this over under, man? Over under 53.5.
I was debating about this a few weeks ago with my peeps.
Mm-hmm.
I said under because new system, new coach, continuity. Yes, I did factor that in. But I'm going to say under because they're going to have to adapt a new system in the first 2 months when the season starts. We're not just counting we're counting preseason also here.
Yes.
I'm going to be watching the preseason games to see how they correlate with the new system. Bench unit involved, starting unit involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a rocky first 2 months. I want to see how they look after the first half of the NBA season. So I'm going to go under for this one.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
That's my reason for it. I was going to say over, but I don't want to buy into the overhypeness. I'm going to say under. I'm going to be a realistic fan. I'm going to say under. Under 53.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's fair, man. I cannot say that you're wrong. Look, I think the adjustment period is real. Obviously, we'd love to see them just kick down the door and get out to the gates flying like gangbusters. But the reality is, it's a new system. It's a new coach with different type of expectations, a different coaching style. And I just look, we have to allow for that too, right? We don't want to get too low when it's early in the season and we haven't allowed these guys to get used to what's happening here and allow them to gain that chemistry and flourish. Like we said, April is the target. Get to April healthy, and then let's take it from there.
That's all I'm worried about. Just get to healthy. Just get to healthy. Just be healthy for the season. I don't want to see no injuries like we had last year with Jalen Brunson. I feel like JB playing injured in playoffs definitely factored in, to the collapse to the Indiana Pacers. I felt like our starters were all gassed out by the ECF. They were all just running on adrenaline throughout the whole Boston series. And, that's how I feel about the series in general. I've made peace with it, and I'm just ready for the next season to start.
There we go. Yuri on the Discord. Rate the take, man. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Rate Yuri's take in the chat and let us know what are you guys thinking. All right, so as I said, Knicks Media Day is Tuesday, September 23rd. Training camp Wednesday, September 24th. We'll be covering Media Day. On the 23rd, we'll be covering Media Day. We'll have our Media Day reactions tomorrow, and then we'll have our training camp show on Wednesday as well with George from Into the Knicks Verse. And so we getting locked and loaded. We getting ready to go. All right, what else, man? We'll be taking some more calls in the Discord. If you guys want to call in, over or under 53.5 wins. Now, as we talk about training camp and coming up, we mentioned the names Brogdon, we mentioned the name Shamet. But remember, to keep both of those guys, the Knicks may have to make a trade. And so there's been a lot of speculation about who is it that it's going to potentially be traded. Is it Dadiet? Is it Kolik? Is it Deuce? Bondi came on, he threw the Deuce gasoline into the fire, and the fans were not too happy about that. They were ready to take him out. But according to our guy Trilogy, shout out to James Edwards of The Athletic, covers the Knicks, does a great job for covering the Knicks for The Athletic. Trilogy says it could be one Pacome Dadiet. He says, talking to people in the league as of late, the name I keep hearing the most is a 20-year-old Dadiet. That could change depending on how they perform, but that's the vibe I've gotten. To keep both, the Knicks would have to make a trade. Given Dadiet's size and projected profile, if his development shakes out, he has more value around the league than Kolik and Huck Porty. That is why trading Dadiet makes the most sense. That was Trilogy's words. My words, don't trade him. I'm just not with it, man. I'm not with it. If you're going to tell me that this is the guy that has the most trade value and the highest prospects of your young candidates, of your youngsters, which we know, then why are we trading him for back of the rotation minutes fillers? I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. And it's not to say that he's going to have a rotation minutes and a carved out role for him. I want to see if he can get there. I like how the shot looks. I like the wing versatility. You got a guy that can cut off ball, already has that skill set at a young age. A low maintenance player that has potential corner 3-point shooting ability. Why are we trading that? I mean, look, these are the type of decisions. These are rich people problems, as they would say. These are the type of decisions that a team with championship caliber aspirations needs to make. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. You're going to trade Kolek? Okay, I can see it. Because right now, I don't necessarily see where, he's all that good at a pro level. Especially if his offense doesn't take shape. We know defensively he's going to be what he is just based on his physical limitations. So if it's Kolek because you say, okay, we got enough guards, we got draft picks coming up, we can get another guy in here. Okay, fine. He's already older. He's on the older side of a young player. But Dadiet, why would we trade Dadiet? For a guy that might not even play every night. Most likely not going to play every night. I would say you keep Brogdon. You tell Shamet, listen, man, we'll catch up with you. We'll get you in when the next vet minimum gets prorated. We catch up with you in February. Hang on. Do your photography work or whatever you need to do. Hang around at NYC. And come back in February for the stretch run. Because by that time, they'll have that 15th roster spot. They'll have the money, the vet minimum money, where it'll be prorated enough where they can afford a guy. So you tell Shamet, take an extended vacation, chill out for a little bit, and we call you back in February. You bring Brogdon in. And by February, Brogdon's probably hurt anyway, so then you got to call Shamet anyway. But yeah, why would we trade Dadiet, man? He's 20 years old. You're missing draft picks every other year. You already invested in your play development. You hired a head of play development. The kid is 6'8", 210 pounds. Can we at least see what's going on here? So that's my soapbox rant for today. I'm not trying to trade Dadiet, man. Not trying to trade Dadiet at all. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Leave me some comments in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. I got to hear how this guy's feeling right now. On both topics. Lunchtime edition. Rambo from Tampa, ladies and gentlemen. Rambo, how you feeling, man?
Man, amazing, man. I just had to get in here real quick.
Let's go.
I had to holler at y'all real quick.
Let's go.
Because, I heard the last couple calls, and that's cool, man. CT, we've had a bad team for a long time. I've had to stay humble. I had to stay modest for a long time. But now? No, man. No, I got to call in. I got to give you the over, man. Okay. You know what? I'll go as crazy and as delusional as the Knicks fans in the past, and I say we'll get 60 wins. I don't care, man. Y'all listen. I get it. New coach, new this, new that, but these aren't rookie players out here, man. Yeah. These are veteran players. These are guys who are used to being accustomed to changing systems, playing in the system, even playing with each other. As far as back as college. Come on, man. If y'all not hitting the over right now, what are y'all doing, man? You guys are playing scared right now. I get it, and I understand it, and I respect it. Because I've been there, we've been down for so long, but man, that is the team to get behind, full support, jump out the window, pull out JD's grill, all that, man. Come on, man. I'm with it, bro. I'm with it. I'm oh my God, I'm so excited, bro. I had to call in real quick, man. I'm about to sit down and have my lunch right now.
Okay, you're on the lunch break. You're on the lunch break.
Oh, I'm officially on my lunch break. Whoever's asking, anytime I call, you know that. You know that. I don't play with that. No, sir. I'm in compliance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Check it in.
Yes, sir.
Rambo from Tampa checking in. All right, so Rambo, he's hammering the over. What do you guys say in the chat, man? Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, up to 5 being facts. Rambo's going with the over. And the good people of the chat are voting right now on the over or under 53.5 wins. And an overwhelming majority is going with the over. 86% right now going with the over versus just 14 with the under. So the chat is agreeing with Rambo from Tampa. All right. So a little salute to Rambo. Always good to hear from him. Thanks for tapping in. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let's go. Oh, we got another super chat. $5 super chat from Above the Rim. He's a mod and a Fanchise channel member, active member of the KFTV fam. Says, CP, look at what happened with Cleveland. The coach unlocked the talent and they took off running. Just got to stay healthy. For sure. For sure. And shout out to Kenny and give credit to Kenny Atkinson and Cleveland because, they were able to accumulate those wins and have the just tremendous ripping off, 15, 17 game winning streaks. And he did it deploying a very deep bench. So give credit to Kenny Atkinson in that regard, man. He was able to do that, have the Cavs as the number 1 seed in the East. Best record in the East. And deploying 11-man rotations. Commendable. That is commendable. Absolutely. So good point by you, Above the Rim. Who else we got in the chat? We just heard from Rambo in Tampa. Everybody in the chat, type in your city, type in your country, where you guys checking in from. I'll shout you guys out. So it's everybody here with us, man, on the lunchtime grind. Randy Johnson in here. Salute to Randy. Armand is back with us. Triple M says 5 for energy, 2 for the over. My guy Rambo. All right, Triple M being egalitarian there. There we go. Junior Chrome already shouted you out. My 2 cents, salute. He says, my 2 cents says, by the way, people forget, besides Dadiet's Euro career at a young age, he pulled 14 rebounds in a G League game in March. I'd like to see it, man. I would definitely like to see it. Okay, we got some more activity going. Speaking of the guy, man. Shout out to Randy Johnson, Fanchise channel member, says, we got 53 with Towns just getting here day before training camp. We should be over. Okay. So he's going on the over. I got you. Charles Raymond says, is Alan Hahn coming to the show this year? We got to do our annual tradition with Han Solo. Just a matter of reaching out to him and getting that scheduled. Very busy guy, as you guys know. But one thing about Han Solo is that he makes time for us. He knows that it's an important show. And so we'll make it happen, hella high water. Just a matter of the date and the time, but you guys will be the first to know. Shout out Marie B checking in from Queens. Jude Sannon checking in from Tampa. Shout out to Jude. He's been with us for a while. Englewood, New Jersey. Mark Lon Barrett. Big up to you. Mellow Mike checking in from Patterson. We got Luquillo, Puerto Rico. Shout out to Vega. Welcome. Shout out to Vega. Vega's always in here. Usually in here. Shout out to Vega. Will Adams checking in from the A. Shout out to Atlanta. Samir Soriano is from Snoqualmie, Washington. Shout out to you. Never heard of that, man. So shout out Snoqualmie, Washington. Shout out to you. Avery checking in from Des Moines, Iowa. And you know what? Avery is going to be traveling from Des Moines, Iowa to join us for our first of the season MSG Premium Fan Event. That is going to be Black Friday, Knicks versus Bucks. And Avery's going to be coming out with us to watch the game with us. You get a little pre or post game premium fan experience at MSG. Maybe it's the open. Maybe it's watch the Knicks practice, or maybe it's the famous free throw contest, or take a photo on the court. So unfortunately, it is sold out. We're sorry, guys. This thing sold out very fast. Within about 30 minutes, we sold out of this thing. So stay tuned. We may have more for this one, or we'll have another game that we will be doing the group event for. But yeah, we sold out very fast. The tickets were in high demand, and you got people like Avery. They're going to be traveling from Des Moines, Iowa. So we're looking forward to spending the time with the Knicks Nation. A lot of people just looking at the guest list at the reservations. A lot of people coming from out of town. So that's going to be a lot of fun to tap in and watch the game with our Knicks fans from across the world. So shout out to Avery, and looking forward to tapping in with you. Okay, let's see who else we got in the chat here. Working, Omar Diaz working. Shout out to Omar. He's on the grind. Let's get to it. Salute to you, Omar. Coach Mike says 60 wins is realistic. Okay. All right. Shout out to Coach Mike. Wash Heights, Christian. How you feeling, Wash Heights? Shout out to everybody in Wash Heights, Inwood, for sure. Watts, California, Babyface Lockster. Hey, Lokester, Babyface Lokester. Put some respect on his name. Miami 305, Long Slim, how you feeling? The Chosen One, how you feeling? Shout out to Stephen Gomez. Shout out to my guy Jay and Rebecca. My guys down there holding it down. We'll see you guys there next month, in a little bit over a month. Shout out to you guys. Terrence P, I see you. So, yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in terms of the overs and unders. And then, as I said, you'll have Media Day tomorrow, Tuesday. We'll have our Media Day reaction. And then we will have our training camp preview show. Some of the top storylines and questions that we have for training camp. Our guy George, a.k.a. Into the Knicks First, will be joining us for that show. All right, looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it. Let's see what this Michael Malone news is. Nothing. He still has a bad taste about Denver. Yeah, whatever. Okay. All right. I think we covered it all. Let's see what else we got. Okay, hang on. Shout out Samir Soriano, $5 super chat. Says checking in he went from Long Island to Pennsylvania to San Fran to Snoqualmie, Washington. Okay, raising 2 Knicks fans out here. Been watching this show since like 2018. So shout out to Samir. He's been with us since day one. 60 dubs, salute. All right, shout out to Samir. All right, he dropped multiple locations on us. We don't know if he's on the run or, in case the feds are watching this, hey, we don't know this man. We just tap in and talk Knicks. We have no other affiliations with this guy. Now, whatever you're into out there in Snoqualmie, Washington, man, we hope you're safe out there. If the feds are listening, we don't know this guy. So, yeah, very much looking forward to Knicks action coming up. Because yesterday, I had to do the grand opening and grand closing of my time as a Giants fan going to a Giants game. I did my annual go to one game per year because they're going to let you down. And they did that with flying colors. They passed the test with flying colors yesterday. Shout out to my lady, though. Knicks chick. We went to the game, celebrate my born day, man. Celebrate the birthday. And that's really what I wanted to do. I wasn't expecting the Giants to win this game by any stretch. But just part of the birthday weekend, birthday celebration, man. I went out to the game. And like I said, they delivered as we expected. A lifeless, ridiculous, bad coached, bad played game. It was horrific. So, as is always the case, by week 3, I stick a fork in the Giants season. I still watch every game. Don't get me wrong. I still watch every game. But by week 3, I'm from up on a mountaintop, I'm on the pedestal, and then I'm in the gutter by week 3. Optimism all out the window. Get that all out of there. They stink as usual. And that's what they do to you. And you know what? You know what's so bad? What I find to be very disappointing, and we ran into a lot of KFTV fans at the game as well. A lot of love, KFTV love in the building. My guy G, shout out my guy G. MSG Security was like 2 rows behind me. Had another KFTV fan in the row directly behind me, so we were surrounded. But you know what's so disappointing with the Giants? What I love the most about attending these games, number one, is the tailgate. No one does tailgate like Giants fans at MetLife at the Meadowlands like Giants Stadium. You get all the setup, the barbecues and the beers and the liquor's flowing. Everybody's got the TV screens, so they're watching the previous games. All the old regalia, all the old merch, the vintage, Giants jackets, the starter jackets, the Russell Athletics. Like, you could see, like, the dinginess, the vintage nature of the clothes. I love all of that, man. The buses and everything decked out, the flags with the championships, like, the traditions of being a Giants fan. It's beautiful. Best part of the game was not even a game. It was LT being shown on the Jumbotron, because I rocked my LT jersey too that day, yesterday. So LT was on the Jumbotron and the crowd went crazy. And everybody was repping their LT jersey. That was the best part. It's a tradition. So all of that is great. The pregame is great. You're vibing with your fellow Giants fan. Red, white, and blue everywhere. The Zuffa pants, all of that. And then within a half, they take all the air out of the stadium. Defense, good enough to be out there, but not good enough to win a game. Can't generate enough pass rushing pressure. Never turns the ball over. Can't get off the field on third down because it's a pass interference or they're holding a guy. Undisciplined. Can't get an interception or a fumble to save their life. What was Bobby Okereke doing yesterday? And it's like, you understand that they're going to be bad, but it's the same thing every year, man. It's just like there's no hope with this team. Everybody that's left this team, like Randy Johnson said, everybody that's left this team is going on to glory. Saquon got his rings. Daniel Jones is out there looking like Joe Montana. Who's the safety they let go to Green Bay? He's out there ball hawking interceptions. Everybody's leaving and turning into a star. Defense stinks no matter who they bring in here. No tight end of name. And then the icing on the cake is a quarterback situation is a disaster already by week 3. We knew what Russell Wilson was going to be here. Same guy in Pittsburgh. He hasn't been himself for 10 years. But the teasing and the sprinkling in of Jackson Dart on these gimmick plays is, for a Giants coach under pressure, job on the line, that is career suicide. How you do that in front of your hometown crowd? They bring in Dart. Okay, run pass option, little trickery. Next thing you know, they bring in Russell Wilson and he gets sacked for a loss. They bring in Dart again. Okay, a little handoff. They take him out and the crowd is booing. Boos raining down in the building. Make a decision already. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. And the teasing, the trickling in of Dart here, there is the worst thing that you can do when your starting quarterback stinks. I don't know what these coaches are doing. The play calling stinks. The players stink. Receiving core trash, man. Like Slayton, all these guys, they are terrible. I like Wandell. He's cool. But it took him 4 quarters to get Malik Neighbors a good ball. Scatterboo was nice. Very tough. He's instantly a fan favorite. We knew that already. He's delivering. But that's all they could do. All they could do is check down a Scatterboo the entire game. All right, so that's my Giants soapbox rant for the day. I still had a great time, though. I had a great time. I had a great time, man. It's hard out here. But as you see, I'm surrounded by blue and orange to take the pain away. Terrence P says, who's worse, the Giants or the Jets? Man, oh man. I almost cried for the Jet fan yesterday. They get the block punt, take it to the house. It was very impressive to see the Jets and the Eagles do that. The same guy who blocked the punt scoops it up and takes it to the house. They get the block punt, take it to the house. Aaron Glenn, he's doing the Harlem Shake of the sideline. And then in 3 plays, they lose the game. I saw a Jet game. There were a couple Jets fans at the game last night, man. I was chopping it up with one. I just said, man, keep hope alive, man. Hang in there. That's brutal. It's brutal. Both teams just in a race to the bottom. Both teams digging for the bottom, man. Unreal. But anyway. You can't make it up. As somebody said, hopefully the Yankees and the Mets fare a little bit better. And then we get serious and get into basketball. But, yeah, keep hope alive, man. Keep hope alive, ladies and gentlemen. All right, good show, good session, good site for everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody who donated, everybody who called in. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format. Absolutely no reason to miss it. We are on every single platform. Sign up for the Discord, the newsletter as well, and make sure you sign up for the digital calendar. If you still need the link, leave us a comment and we'll send it out to you. And make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms. At KnicksFanTV, at CP the Fanchise is where you can find me. We'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Great show. Peace.